up, Otaku Nation? Oda King Live here, coming at you again for another top 10 anime of the week. I got my little co-host here. Maybe you know him. His name is, I believe it's Pikachu. And he's kind of giant and taking up a lot of real estate. So for now, I'm just going to stick his ass right here and knock over everything, and you probably won't see him in that shot. So anyways, this week I'm bringing you the top 10 kind of more hardcore fan service animes that I could find in my list and pull out. So we're going to start with kind of the more tame, kind of the more old school, and work our way up from there. So in no real particular order, number one, maybe you haven't heard of it, but it was big back in the day, Agent Aika. This is, or was, pretty much the definition of the panties anime. Every girl in this show simply wore a really high skirt. And they all, they all had combat. They all kung fu. And everyone got flipped over and everyone had their panties showing. This probably, I don't know, there was a panty counter for this show at one time, and it's in the hundreds, trust me. It's pretty old school in this day and age, and pretty not as hardcore as nowadays. So next up is the ever classic Golden Boy. A little more hardcore. Golden Boy, he is pretty much trying to sleep with a few of the girls, but then of course it turns around and it's always got that sweet and everybody learns something side to it. But certainly a little more of the the tits out genre, and a classic in the comedy genre as well. Certainly one of my old school faves and still holds up to this day and age. Next up is kind of following after what Aika did, Strike Witches. The war on pants, I believe, is their catchphrase. Pretty much you got a bunch of girls, and because they have to wear their propeller leg armor, that they can't wear pants, so they're pretty much just walking around in their underwear the entire series. Very rarely do they have a skirt or pants or anything on. It's just underwear, but it's really about as far as it goes. It's quite tame, to be quite honest. It's pretty and it's even a pretty good show. So I'd recommend checking this one out if you don't mind some panty shots to go with your alien warfare. Next up is a bigger one, and more than likely most have seen it, Rosario Vampire. Another one that, again, it was mostly just panty shots, things like that. It's classic harem, multiple girls, one guy, but it really wasn't really as hardcore as I thought it was going to be. But certainly a pretty good show. I think it really holds up in the harem anime, and it probably should have been in my harem video. But either way, you've probably seen it, and if you haven't, check it out. And we'll move on from there. Now, I got a few cheats coming up here. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I got Ladies and versus Butlers only not too long ago, just the other day. I heard it from Right Stuff, and I haven't watched it yet. It's still got the cellophane on it. It's unopened. But I always saw this in AMVs and things, the girls dancing on the poles and everything, and I knew I had to have it. So it's just, I'm just going off what I've seen in videos, what I've seen on the back. Now, I've heard it's not that bad, but as far as I can tell so far, without watching it, it looks pretty bad. So I'm pretty excited for this one. Next up is Girls Bravo. It's another one of those, multiple girls, one guy, and bath scenes and everything aplenty. I mean, this show is pretty much one of the tits out type of shows. Unopened as well. I remember I'm a little confused by that. So Girls Bravo is one of the more older school ones. This is what was this, released by Genion, so this is pretty old. It's a 6-disc DVD set I got laying around downstairs on my shelves. And let's move on. Next up, it's another little cheat. It's Sekirei. I have not seen this show yet. I picked it up used at a pawn shop, and I just haven't got around to it yet. But I've heard that it's it's pretty hardcore, and I remember watching the Watch Mojo video of the top 10 tits out anime, and this was up there. It was in their top 5, I believe. So while I haven't seen it, I've been taking the words of others and stuck it in this list. Next up is Heaven's Lost Property. This is a big time panty fetish anime. Pretty much slave girl here has to do whatever master says, and all kinds of hijinks ensue. It is certainly pretty good, and it's run quite a while too. There's movies, multiple series. I even just picked up a couple figures from it the other day. It is on my recommend. And then of course the pretty much big daddy of them all, the nowadays, here and now, High School D&D. I mean, in the title it's double D, so it's pretty obvious what is going to be a lot in this, and there is a lot of tits and ass in this show. Just from episode 1, it's naked girls pretty much wandering around. Lots of good action though, and a pretty good story to go with it. So it's one of the ones that pretty much everybody has seen in this time and age, and certainly on my recommended to watch list. The one that I cannot put in this video due to the fact that I don't own it yet is To Love Ru. That's another big one that everybody talks about, so hey, leave that out of the comments because I mentioned it. But either way, leave a like and throw a comment down there and let me know what other ones I might have missed, and I'll see you next time.